All right, this is Fess from the Webcast Beacon Network for Webcomic Beacon Presents First Issue. We are on location at Twin Cities Comics in Columbia Heights, Minnesota. I'm here with Jeremy.
How's it going?
How's it going? Nice hat.
Thank you. You
All
too.
right, thank you. So we're about 6-7 months after the New 52 from DC Comics, and I wanted to get some perspectives from some of the retailers and hopefully some of the customers if I can grab a few. So DC Comics New 52 is sort of this big thing that they were, it's this sort of renumbering of all the comic books.
Yep.
What were some of the things that retailers were looking at before it happened, in both from the company and from your customers?
I think one of the things that, as a retailer, we were kind of nervous with was the renumbering of Action and Detective. DC has restarted their numbering several times before, but has never restarted Action Comics or Detective Comics. That was their big showing that they're serious, this is going to happen, and this is how it's going to happen. And that's when we all knew that it was going to be a bigger thing than just, a post-crisis, a 1 year later storyline that they were doing, or any number of times
Right.
that DC has restarted, because they've never done those things. So it kind of made you nervous as a retailer, but excited. If we would have had a little more advanced notice, I think that might have been good too.
How short of notice was it?
We as retailers, at the time I wasn't even a retailer, I was just a retail employee. But at the time, we really didn't know what was going on until Flashpoint had already started. Which Flashpoint was the storyline before the new DC universe, kind of bringing the different universes together and putting it in one universe.
Kind of like 52.
Yes. But so we didn't know exactly what Flashpoint was going to lead to. They promised big changes, something's coming, we don't know, here it is. So I think a little more advanced notice would have been nice, but it would have been nice in the sense that we could explain to customers, here's what's coming, so you know. Every character that you know is changing. Characters that you love are going away, which was something that a lot of fans really didn't respond well to. Where's Wally West? Where's Donna Troy? Big characters that have been around for the years in DC Universe are now gone, not talked about. And sure, they're restarting the universe, but again, these are big characters. Wally West was the Flash at one time. So to have him not even in the universe at all,
So far as we know, anyway.
Right. Has raised a lot of questions with fans. They're responding well enough to say we want to know the answers to these questions, so that's good.
Spoilers too.
Right. So
I think another big one was fairly controversial. Probably was Batgirl
Yes.
not being Oracle anymore.
Yep.
Being like their only, essentially, other abled character.
Right.
Ever.
able-bodied.
Yeah, and we do get a few sort of answers. Okay, no, we don't. But we get some explanation that it's not a hard restart because obviously some continuity from the previous universe is still kind of there, but we're basically not. It's not spelled out which is specifically canon or how specific it is.
Exactly.
So
that's been the case through a lot of different titles. Some titles have continued on storylines that they had before,
like Lost, like Legion.
Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Elements of Batman were still there. Damian being Robin, Batman Incorporated being around, and then you've got series that just started all fresh. The whole Super family started over. Superman, Superboy, Supergirl.
Right.
They all started over. They didn't carry over anything, really.
When I read Superman, it wasn't really... Obviously, that seemed like it was in the future compared to like the other super titles.
Correct. And I think a lot of that has to do with Action Comics being set 5 years ago, and then some of the new titles being now. So DC really hasn't explained exactly when a lot of these are taking place. Like Justice League started out 5 years ago.
Okay.
But now the last issue moved up to current.
Gotcha. From the time that the New 52 was going to start to afterwards, did you see a trend in old customers versus new customers and their adapting or picking up of the new series?
Yeah, we actually saw a big surge in new customers coming in for the DC 52. Now, it was kind of a weird first grouping of people because a lot of people came in initially just to buy the number ones. That's all they wanted. That's all they cared about.
Okay.
Because of value, value, value. And as I tried to tell everybody, so you're not going to be able to come in 2 weeks and sell this for $100 because that's what everyone's mentality was. So we had a lot of people coming in for that. After really pushing and letting them know, hey, it's not just a bunch of number ones. It's a whole new universe. So, really think about why you're getting into comics. And I think kind of coming from that standpoint, we had a lot more people coming in because they weren't just coming in just to buy them as an investment or as something they can set aside and pay for their kids' college someday. It became the story. The new Batman, they were introducing a new villain. There hasn't been a new Bat villain in years, so that was a big deal that they were going to be doing this. Again, starting over Action and Detective brought a lot of people in saying, hey, what's going on? Why are you doing that? So it was definitely an increase in business on the DC end from new customers. As far as existing customers, that one kind of teetered back and forth.
Okay.
And I would say, at least in our store, maybe not everywhere, but at least in our store, it was kind of a 50-50 split. We had a lot of people that were really excited for it and started picking up titles they had never bought before. But on the same note, we had so many people that were like, I'm done. This is it. This is the last time DC is doing this to me. These aren't the characters I know. This isn't the universe I know. I'm done. So it was kind of a catch-22 in the sense of it's great to get new people in, but are you appealing to the older customers as well?
Okay. Now, with that, were there new, completely new comic book readers?
Yeah. Yep, definitely. We had a lot of people coming in that had never read comic books before and just wanted a sense of something new. They were told that this was a medium that has been around for years. It's an entertaining medium. And for XYZ reason, they'd never checked out comics, decided to come in.
Because they don't advertise anything.
That is true.
That was true. The biggest difference that I saw is you see DC advertisements for comic books in places that you don't see advertisements for comic books anymore because it's the only times you see comic book advertisements or in other comic books.
Yeah, exactly. Word of mouth is really the main avenue of any sort of advertising that we've had for years, other than putting an ad out and saying, here we are. There really isn't Marvel or DC saying, hey, come check out these titles.
Right.
Hey, there's an Avengers movie coming out. You should go read the book. Hey, Dark Knight Rises. Why don't you come back, check out Batman?
Yeah, you never see anything like that.
No.
It's like you see a cartoon, and some people will know that there's a whole toy line, but they don't advertise they have a toy line.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently there's some law for that one, though, for kid shows.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, that's what I heard.
Whenever it goes back to He-Man, probably.
Yeah. So now we're 6-7 months later, and pretty much all of the new 52 have gone through their first story arc.
Yep.
Even if there might be a super arc going on. What have been some of the reactions after there's been some time after some of the stories have been told from?
In my experience, the reaction to the majority of DC 52 titles has been positive because they've done such drastic changes. Not in the sense of just character changes, but story changes. They're speeding storylines up a little faster. The 6-issue story arc doesn't seem to matter to them too much if they can tell the story in 3 or 4, which as a fan of a comic book, that's great. I don't like reading filler issues. I don't like reading an issue that just doesn't make sense. So having everything be exactly what you want coming into it really, drives that book for people. But also in the sense of just having new things and new experiences. And even if they're new experiences with old characters, it's still that new experience.
Right.
So, having the first story arcs be over, people have finally got a taste of this is the new whoever it's going to be, this is how it's going to be from here on out. And now they're able to tell their friends, these are the titles that I enjoy.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, fantastic new title. I can't say enough good things about it, and it's not a title that was very good before.
Yeah. Melissa, one of my co-hosts with the show, quotes somebody else who I forget the name. Somebody says that Wonder Woman is a box of handles connected to nothing. And I can see where that happens because I hear all this stuff about they try to make her into something that wasn't really well put together to begin with, but because I have the only experience I have is from the cartoon shows ever of any of these characters
or the old TV show with Linda Carter.
Yeah, that one I used to watch that when I was a kid, but it really tied together a lot of things like how was she made of clay, was she son of Zeus sort of thing, and but they approached that pretty well.
Yeah, they did a great job of taking an old Wonder Woman and making her new, modernizing her a little bit while still taking all the really cool elements that made Wonder Woman an attractive character, not just a beauty sense, but an attractive to read character. Because she's always been one of the holy trinity of DC, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. But how many real awesome Wonder Woman stories have you ever read?
Well,
not a ton.
This is the first one.
Right. True. But in the grand sense of different characters, a lot of these characters never had memorable storylines, and DC kind of said, let's make some of those. So.
All right. So last question. So as we have gone through basically the first storyline, now there's a lot of question of where they're going to go from here. Yeah, this was a nice start. Where are they going to pick up? Do you have similar concerns from maybe like the old people that haven't been given it a chance just yet? They really want to wait and see still, or?
No, because the ones that are waiting and seeing either have already picked up and come in and picked up some of the newer stuff and then had to come pick up back issues.
Okay.
We've already seen it. Some people come in, I wasn't getting this, but I read issue 5 and I really liked it, so can I get issue 1 through 4? The only thing that I would worry about is that they keep the same level of quality that they put out. Keep the same great artists on there. Keep the good storytelling that you've been going, and don't revert back to what you used to be, because that's when people stopped going, I don't read 16 Bat titles. I don't need to know the further adventures of Superman, because it got real repetitive, and you just kept reading the same story with a different artist and a different writer.
Right.
But as long as they keep the quality going, and in all reality, keep the shock value going. Keep fans on their toes. Don't let them know what's going on. Don't blab things on the internet. Don't leak things out.
Look, I got that one. Look how much
Be
that
surprised.
costs.
Right.
Because that, to me, is when you read an issue and go,
Look how much it is.
that is amazing, and you want to tell all your friends about it and get them to read it. Again, as long as they keep that, I think this should be all right.
All right, well, that's going to be it for this interview. We'll probably come back later and talk about Fear itself with Jeremy, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Yep.